Hello, hunters, and welcome back to my story. Let's begin part 3. A massive amount of grunts is overwhelming the Alliance, and things seem grim until Curtis, Lee, and Stry finally all unlock the same transformation that Atka did against Halloran. Now they quickly turn the tables, and the grunts now don't stand a chance. Back in the other world, during the fight, Manonzo reveals that they are in a different dimension, called the Forsaken Dale. Although Manonzo is only about as strong as Enzo was, he's still giving the powered-up Atka a hard time because of the heat in the Forsaken Dale. But Roshan isn't affected by the heat, so he joins in the fight and Manonzo is quickly overwhelmed. Then Manonzo fires a full-power blast towards Alexis, but Atka jumps in front of her and knocks it away. When the blast explodes, a portal opens up. Roshan kicks Manonzo into the lava, and the three of them go through the portal and end up back on Earth. The portal closes once again, and everyone else, having defeated all the grunts, goes up to them, relieved to see if they're okay. Then Stry tells them that they don't know how to deal with the portals, and Atka tells them why these things have been happening. Then suddenly Manonzo teleports in front of them. He's still alive from getting thrown into the lava. Atka tries to transform and finish it, but he's too tired. Then Stry transforms and throws a ball of energy at Enzo, tossing him into the air and blowing him up. Now the portals disappear, and everyone is back to normal. With his threat vanquished, the king decides to celebrate it by holding a tournament in the Arena of Goliath called the Tournament of Will. Atka, Stry, Lee, Curtis, Roshan, Junior, Goaty, Hikage, Hikari, Hans, and Kevin all enter. The first round begins, and the first battle is Atka versus Hans. Atka and Hans haven't met in quite some time, but Hans has still heard of Atka's feats, and he forfeits. The second battle is Kevin versus Akiro. Akiro is younger than Atka, and no one knows who he is. But to everyone's surprise, he defeats Kevin. The third battle is Goaty versus Raihi. The two recognize each other. They met several years ago, when they both left with different people. Raihi is now with Akiro though. Goaty wins the fight. The fourth battle is Stry versus Hikage. Stry is no match at first, but once he transforms, he wins the fight. The fifth battle is Curtis versus Gear. Curtis knocks Gear off in a single hit without even trying. This loss makes Gear kinda angry, but he leaves. The sixth battle is Roshan versus Junior. It was a very even fight, but Junior won. The last battle of the first round is Hikari versus Lee. Lee was able to win in the close match after transforming. Now, the second round begins. The first battle of the second round begins, and it's Atka versus Akiro. Atka stays in his normal form in the fight, and during the battle, Akiro proves to be almost as strong as him. Atka feels that he has potential. Once Akiro seems to be knocked unconscious by Atka, he gets back up, looking very angry and powerful. And suddenly, he unlocks the same transformation that the others did. He's half Orphanus, just like Atka and his brothers. And he's the son of Enzo. Many years ago, Halloran showed up at their house and possessed Enzo, and he had Enzo kill his wife. Right as this happened, Akiro and Raihi escaped, and have since lived alone in the wilderness. Akiro felt horribly defeated then, and he transformed here because the taste of defeat reminded him of that day. He charges at Atka at full power, and Atka has to transform in order to stop his attack. They have an intense battle, but Atka wins in the end. Akiro thanks him for the tough match, and the second battle begins. It's Goaty versus Stry. Stry won the fight. The last battle of the second round is Junior versus Lee. Lee won the fight. Since there were an odd number of fighters this round, Curtis moves on to the third round without a fight. The first battle of the third round is Atka versus Stry. In yet another close match, Atka wins the fight. The last battle of the third round is Lee versus Curtis, and Curtis wins easily. Now the final round begins, and it's Atka versus Curtis. They both prepare to fight, but then the statue of the arena, Goliath, gets surrounded by the power of the dark spirits and awakens. It attacks the two fighters, and the tournament is called off so they can fight. Atka and Curtis are having trouble against Goliath's defenses, and even transformed they aren't doing well. Stry and Lee join in as well, but they don't make much of a difference even with all four of them transformed. Then Akiro, who's watching from the spectator seats, finds Goliath's weakness and jumps down to help the others. He transforms and tells the others his weakness, which is the core that's exposed in his torso area. Then all five of them fire a full-power blast there, and they're able to obliterate Goliath. As thanks for their courage, all five of them are awarded the prize money for the tournament. $1 million. Hikage and Hikari regret not joining the fight. With all that said and done, everyone returns home, and Akiro and Raihi leave to go train. But little do they know, a new threat looms right over their heads. In outer space, a space station that some scientists among the Dark Spirits work in is there. They're the ones responsible for what happened to Goliath. They used something called the Dark Cannon, but this project failed, and now a new one is being developed. It is Project Goo. Half a year after the tournament of will, in the Dark Space Station, the scientists have nearly completed Project Goo. It is a pink creature made of several clays and creature parts from several planets. Because of this, he can stretch his body in any way, as well as regenerate any lost part of his body. He's given the powers of a Dark Spirit Elite, as well as the ability to absorb other life forms, to get stronger. However, Goo gets an aggressive nature, and kills the scientists before they can complete their work on his abilities. He also destroys the space station, which also destroys most of him. The rest of his body falls to the earth, and when he lands, he regenerates, and finds himself in the middle of great forest. Since he was given the powers of an elite Dark Spirit, he knows how to fly, sense energy, and control energy. So he senses a strong power that is nearby, and he flies over to it. It's Junior, training alone in the Straw Mountain range. He confronts Junior, and Junior is easily defeated and absorbed. Goo, now even stronger, heads over to Atka, who is visiting Great Village. Kevin and Alexis are also there. Goo confronts Atka and challenges him to a fight. Even when he's transformed, Atka doesn't stand a chance. Goo tells him that he absorbed Junior to gain more power. This makes Atka furious, but he still doesn't have a chance against Goo's overwhelming power. When Atka's backed into a corner, Alexis suddenly comes out of nowhere and kicks Goo in the head, sending him flying, since he was off guard. Atka responds by blasting Goo at full power, blowing half his body off. They think they've won, but then Goo regenerates, to their surprise. Alexis says they can beat Goo if they team up, but Atka tells her that it won't work, and that Goo hasn't even used his full power yet. Goo then tells them everything about him and his space station, and Atka insists that he fights Goo alone and that Alexis and Kevin escape. The two then reluctantly flee, after Atka told them once again, and Alexis tells Atka to win. Alexis wanted to stay by Atka's side, but she has faith in him. Then Goo starts beating up Atka until he's knocked back into his base form and on the ground. Goo has won, and he prepares to absorb Atka. Just then, Goo explodes into a million pieces, and out comes Junior. Goo's absorption ability was flawed due to him escaping before he was complete, and due to this, he couldn't keep a hold of Junior or his power. Goo regenerates once more, and he's now much weaker than when he had Junior. Junior still can't fight Goo though, so he takes an now unconscious Atka and flies away, with Goo chasing after them. Junior is flying through the Straw Mountains with Atka, trying to get away from Goo, but Goo is closing in. When Goo gets very close, Junior speeds up and goes around a mountain. He loses Goo and hides in a cave. Goo starts searching the mountains, and when Junior feels him getting close, he goes deeper into the cave. Goo gets tired of searching and starts blasting the mountains. Rocks collapse and Junior and Atka get trapped in the cave, forcing Junior to blast his way out of the cave. Goo then detects Junior's energy and is able to find them. Junior then throws a blast to blindside Goo and flees once more. He makes it to Mount Cherry when Goo catches up to them again. Just when it seems like there's no escape for Junior and Atka, Curtis arrives on the scene. Everyone sensed what was going on, and Alexis and Kevin told them what happened, but didn't know if they should help because they didn't know how bad Atka was doing because they were too far away to tell, until Curtis finally decided to step in. Junior then takes Atka to the castle, and now the showdown on the peak begins. Curtis is able to defeat Goo, and Goo gets burned in the volcano. With Goo dead and the space station destroyed, there are no more threats near Earth. However, back on their home planet, Planet Dark, some girls who survived hid away in the Dark Castle, and others return to their king, the Dark Lord Zin, and tell them that all their troops that were sent to Earth were killed, including his own son Hollowin. This angers the king, but then he decides to make his other son the new prince. He has a young prodigy who has just come of age. His name is Spirit. He's sent to Earth and arrives in 10 days. He attacks the castle and easily gets past the guards, as well as Alexis, Kevin, and the Queen. He takes King Jerry, knocks him out, and is about to leave until Atka shows up. Atka tries to stop him, but he gets knocked down in one hit. He tells Atka that if he wants to save everyone, he has to return to the Dark Castle and find him in a new chamber. Then he leaves. Everyone gets healed, and Atka, Alexis, and Kevin go to the Dark Castle. Roshan meets them there, and tells them that everyone else is seriously injured. On his way to the castle, Spirit injured all the other fighters who could help, so only these 4 can join the fight. They enter the Dark Castle and go to the ancient sewers, where they notice a new path behind bars that they never went down before. Atka bends the bars and they go down the new path. They find themselves in a new part of the dungeon, called the Catacombs of Despair. This place is a scary maze that is home to many zombies. They get through there and enter another new section called the Cistern of Spirits. It is just as terrifying and confusing to navigate as the previous place, and they also have to solve puzzles and use warp tiles. But they make it through and meet Spirit at last. Thanks for watching part 3 of this story. Stay tuned for part 4 to see how the battle against Prince Spirit goes. I'll see you guys then. Happy hunting.